YouTube. What's up? Once again, it's Miss K with Silver Wolf TV. And once again, I'm here with OG Frank Nitty. How you doing?
I'm a whole lot better now since I'm here with you.
Thank you.
So I say things looking up.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Happy New Year to you. How's it treating you so far?
Well, Happy New Year to you too. And so far, it's been good. It's been good. It was one small hiccup, but it was quickly overcome. So I say things been good.
Okay, all right. So I have a couple of questions, if that's okay with you.
Well, shoot,
Oh, so 30 years. Wow.
that was a long time.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you hold up during those 30 years? As far as money, like how did you hold it together money wise?
Well, it was a mixture of things. One of the things is I had like real loyal friends,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh, two dudes, especially, by one was by the name of Carl Lockley, and the
Okay.
other one was Troy Balboa. Like these guys, pretty much almost did my whole bit with me,
Wow.
right? But it was also hustling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a kid when I was coming up, I had, or I hung around older dudes, so I had the I guess the advantage of learning what they call the flat foot hustle,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I could see a guy have a talent that was something I couldn't do, but I would convince him that he should let me go in and be partners with him
Mm-hmm.
on his business and how it's going to expand. Now, I if he would have just been patient and believed in his dream, right, he'd have did all this on his own. However, I would give this man things are going to be so much better as us as partners. Now, most guys got caught up on the, hey man, I ain't got to worry about nothing. Frank Nitty my partner, right? I just want a piece of the pie. That's
Uh-huh.
it. But that's kind of how I held up. I won't lie. I've robbed guys before and stuff like that. Um, but one guy in particular, I never forget this. I I robbed this Jamaican guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he had been robbed before. Now, had I known he'd been robbed before, I wouldn't have robbed him. But he had a TV, so I robbed him and took his TV, and he seen me like days later. He said, "Man, you know something?" He said, "I respect you." He said because you came in there and took my stuff face to face.
Mm.
He said, "Man, a lot of guys will wait till I leave out the cell and go steal it." He
Wow.
said, "I respect you."
It's a dirty world.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's now. Was it right? No, right. But like they said, when you are a kid, you do childish things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I kind of grew up, in adult prison, but it did not make me an adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people have a horrible misunderstanding belief that once someone is 18, they're grown.
I agree.
That is the
I
farthest
agree.
thing away from the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because people they believe that okay, you've grown, but they go there and make childish decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like that beef with their parents and stuff like that. I'm grown now, I'm 18. But they go make childish decisions, and then they be bad decisions in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go looking to the parents to bail them out of the situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you can love someone, but you can also tell them no.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to find your way through this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to help not because I love you any less, or I mean to you in any kind of way, you're gonna do this because you'll learn to appreciate it.
Yes.
So, what's your next question?
Well, it's so much that you hear about folk that do time.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. It's so much that you hear that go on with people that do time. Um, how did you hold up far as like not not being with your girlfriend or wife or like how physically how did you like stay disciplined and
Well,
keep it together?
I don't know about the stay disciplined part, right? Because I mean, this is supposed to be a raw interview, so when I needed to, I jerked off.
Uh-huh.
Now, I also had sex, which I won't mention their names,
Mhm.
but I had sex with two different female correctional officers, right? And I was having sex with them on a regular. So that's how I kind of relieve myself.
Mhm.
Um, it's sometimes it's imagination, sometimes it's a book or anything. Cause like if you ask 100% of the people, right, and say, hey,
Mhm.
as an adult, have you ever masturbated?
Mhm.
If they be honest, they will all have to say yeah. I'm gonna say out of 100%, I'm gonna say a strong 90% would have to say yeah I do.
Mhm.
So I think it's a natural thing if you in that type of environment and things like that. But you got your guys that they expose themselves
Mhm.
to females and that's horrible,
Mhm.
right? Because it's to me and a number of other people say it's almost a degree of a sexual offense
Mhm.
because you're sitting there. This woman is traumatized seeing this shit. It ain't got nothing to do with size. She looking like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Right? Like, why the fuck would you do like? I never forget it. It's old dude, man. This is one of. It's sad because I'm trying to remember his name, but man, I really had the respect of a father for him.
Mhm.
That's how much I respected him. And he was with me one day. I mean, we was beside each other in the supermax, and a female officer came around because she was counting, right? And she was counting because they take a count, a couple of different times a day in there. And she got to like the cell next to mine, and you would hear like, oh my fucking god. Then she would get to the cell down and get another one, get another one, get another one, all that.
Mhm.
And while she was saying something, I remember him asking, he said, hey, little Frank Nitty. He said, man, you don't do that kind of shit, do you? I said, hell no. He said, why you ask? He said, because believe it or not, he said, man, you don't know what the next guy's in here for.
Mhm.
He said, now he might tell you, boy, I'm in here for 25 murders. I was the next Charles Manson. He said he can take all that. He said, but in reality, he might be a child molester.
Mhm.
He might be a rapist. He
Mhm.
be all that. And when that female know because she got access to his files,
Mhm.
and so she already know what he is. He said, but how does she tell a motherfucker apart from him with knowing that he a child molester, he a rapist, he whatever, he an undercover what they call a undercover brother, right? And she know all this about him.
Mhm.
He said, and then she see you doing the same exact thing as he doing. He said, no matter how many people you kill, how many people you scared of you, how much money you get.
Mhm.
He said she will only see you as him because she know what he's about. He said she knows who he is and what he's about, And if you're mimicking the same thing that he's doing, what would make her think that you're any different?
Mm.
And I always held that with me. I always held that. So when it came that time, it was my business. It wasn't, it wasn't. I wouldn't put on those show. I'm not what they call a badge of biking them. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not them. I like being there. I like being alone. I like being like romantic.
Yeah.
So pretty much that's it. But that's a surprising question, but I like it.
Well, do you have time for one more?
Sure, come on with it.
Okay, so have you ever been on lockdown?
I've been on lockdown majority of my incarceration.
So I once heard before lockdown they go without feeding you for a certain time.
Well,
What is that true? What
this
is that like?
this is what they do. Now, like say a spot like North Branch.
Mhm.
When you in North Branch and you on lockdown, you have to go to the back of the cell and get on your knees and face the wall, and the police throw the bag lunches in there to you. And you had guys who wouldn't do that because and I was one of them, and said, I'm not a fucking dog, so don't throw my fucking food at me, right? And I'm not gonna get on my knees to get my food, but that was the type of stuff that they would do to us in there. And it was during those times though that real friendships was actually forged, because I can remember guys in there who they bowed down and they did that, right? But they knew that, hey, I'm not them, and it's not even a thing of might, but they say I'm not mentally as strong as him, right? They say, so I have to eat. And they would do stuff like fish bread on a line, like across the tier, and that might be all we got to eat that day was 2 slices of bread.
Oh wow.
They would do stuff like that to us, or they'd give us they might give us 4 slices and 2 slices of cheese, but that was it.
For the whole.
Yeah, for the whole joint, and it was horrible, right? It was, and they might like if they feel good, they would give you this little cup of vegetables, mixed vegetables, or normally it'd be beets, because they knew that stuff was horrible.
You weren't going to eat it.
Right, you weren't gonna eat it, so you would be in there, and like we had been on lockdown for like a year and a half or stuff like that, and like up there is really strict, and then you put strict reinforced by racism. It's a terrible spot. Like one of the most degrading things that happened to me was attempted to happen to me rather. And I went to the Supermax about this because they said, okay, we have a new way of strip searching y'all now. Because at one point in time, you would strip down to your boxers, you would pull them down to your knees and squat and cough, and then you put your clothes back on. So they started telling us, look, you gotta pass out everything, and you have to bend over and pull your behind apart. I said, I'm not doing that, right? And they said, man, that's the new way. I said, I don't give a fuck what kind of policy it is. I'm not doing that because that's against me as a man.
So this was definitely a policy. This wasn't, I'm just messing with you guys.
No, they had started adopting this policy because I believe at the time it was a new warden. So, normally they do stuff like that. They try to set a bar, like, I'm gonna make it horrible for y'all, this and that, and that's what that came from. And I was so mad. It wasn't that I was actually going on a hunger strike.
Mhm.
I was bad and just didn't want them to come to my fucking door, period. And it was time for them to feed us. And I said, man, look, fuck that trade. Get away from my door. Right? Right. Because I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I could come off rec,
Mhm.
which was 1 hour a day. So anyway, other people started turning down ads. And then it led to the next tier, then the next tier, then the next tier. Then it started spreading to buildings and stuff like that. And so they wouldn't nobody eat. Like a weekend went by, wouldn't nobody eat, right? So they came to me and said, "Look, man," they said, "we need you to go around and tell everybody to eat."
Mhm.
And so I said, "No, I ain't gonna do no shit like that." Right? I say, "That's a police job." I said, "I'm a convict." So they say, well, look, no, they put me back in the cell first, and then they brought me out again, brought me in the lieutenant office, and they went and got a dude that's been him really tight by the name of Joe Lewis, right? And they went and got Joe Lewis and said, "Look, we gonna put Joe Lewis on lockup if you don't go around there and tell everybody to start eating again." So it was so funny because Joe Lewis got up and started walking towards the door. And so the other guards was like, "Oh man, where you going? Hold on." He said, "Oh, I already know Frank ain't gonna do that, so I'm going to lock up," right? And so I'm walking out behind them. They said, "No, no, no." I said, "Shit, I'm never doing nothing like that." But it was like this was about my dignity, right? I don't care. I'm not accused of any heinous crime or anything that harm a child or a woman, this and that, or even a civilian, right? Now, do I say that taking someone's life is right? No, because I'm not God, right? But, I was in a different state of mind back then, and, it was the way I was brought up and trained. However, it's, that type of thing in there is prison it's just like, I don't know, man. It's almost can't even be put into words, especially that amount of time, right? Because, like, think of it like this. Let's say you was a correctional officer. Now, as I would tell you two, she's pretty,
Thank
right? And let's say you come in there as a guard. You're going to cause all kind of problems, right? Because guards are going to be trying to holler at you.
Oh, okay.
And dudes that ain't going to be trying to holler at you. Because these dudes might be gang leaders or whatever. And they like, man, I'm trying. And it's so crazy because everybody be acting a fucking fool, right? Because he will try to show off in front of you, a guard will try to show off in front of you. This dude ain't going for it. And then this dude try to show off in front of you, the guard ain't going for it. And it's a constant motherfucking problem. So when ones like you used to come in, I used to just laugh and shake my head. They used to say, "Why you all, every time you see me, you laugh and shake your head?" I said, "Good man, you are a fucking problem." Right? Because it's so disruptive. And the most realest thing a correctional officer, a female correctional officer ever said to me, she kind of like hollered at me about something. And I was, and like I said, in prison, I was somebody, so you don't be screaming at me. And when she did it, I said, "You fucking crazy," right? I said, "You'll come up missing around here," right? So she said, "Ain't never gonna have to be." I'll never forget it. She put her hand on her hip. She said, "I'm God in here. I got a pussy. Fuck me up." And she said, "I'm God in here. I got a pussy. You ain't do nothing to me." And I looked.
Wow.
And it was like an epiphany. I looked and say, "Damn, if she just promised somebody something, I probably had my own with it. It'd be like, what's his name, Caesar or Brutus and all them back in the day. I would probably pull all kind of knives on my back." But
it really get wild.
it gets wild, and I be sit back and think about that kind of stuff. I be like, man, like we don't really understand life. I think until, and I don't suggest anybody go to prison, but until you had those kind of experiences or you've been put into those kind of positions. So and like so many people, man, and I really hate when people be around me and they do this. They have these, they're what I like to call uninformed opinion, because they'll be talking about stuff they have no idea what they talk about for real, but because to them it might sound intellectual, and I'm like, man, you know what I mean? Oh, quite certain. And a lot of times they be so wrong. And then you know when people, one of the signs that they what they call newly literate, right? They keep using the same big word, right? And I'll be like, Austin Pisces, what the fuck? That ain't even, what that got to do? What the fuck we talking about? Like, man, you sound crazy. Because a lot of people would expect me to, man, because he this, he that, he this and that, me to be uneducated. And I mean, for those who've been proven wrong, I mean, you know, maybe they can warn other people. But, you know, it is what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and close because I got to take care of something.
Okay. Well, it was
but as
nice
always, it was lovely seeing you again.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
And I hope we do this again soon.
Okay.
Maybe YouTube, I get her to one day and say she gonna go out on a date before she get to hit Hollywood. All right, y'all be cool out there.
Thank you for your time as well, YouTube. Have a nice one. Until next time. Thank you.
And remember to drop something in the Cash App. You know, a donation. Remember, OHTF 20. Right? Y'all have that. Drop a donation, man. You like what you heard, man? Drop a donation in there, man, so we can keep it coming. All right?
Civil Wolf TV, thanks for watching, y'all. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share and comment. Peace out. God bless.